Chapelhay in Weymouth was home to a violent event during the English Civil War. Battles between royalist and parliamentary factions ended in an horrific bloodbath on its harbour streets.
There was 1,200 Sydenhams, Roundheads, parliamentarians, whatever you want to call them, facing 6,500 royalists, and they basically beat the hell out of them. They were fighting for their lives.
This is the English Civil War Society, participating in a commemoration of this bloody event, organised by the Chapelhay Community Partnership.
Partly as a commemoration, because this is the anniversary of the actual siege itself and the major action that took place in the town, which was a lot of bloodshed. But also there's moves to try and rescue and preserve the old town hall.
The whole fascinating story is told in Mark Vine's book, The Crabchurch Conspiracy. In 1645, the Weymouth area was still divided by the harbour waters into two distinct towns, Melcombe to the north and Weymouth to the south.
Soldiers from the Portland garrison, Royalist garrison, attacked the Nove fort and the Chapelhay fort simultaneously. They gained Weymouth for the king, but the force from Sherborne, which was meant to arrive and attack Melcombe, the other side of the water, didn't turn up, and that gave Sydenham and his Roundheads a chance to reform over the other side.
Parliamentary Roundhead forces led by Colonel William Sydenham were subjected to a weeks-long bombardment and siege, destroying many of the old buildings. Sydenham's request for a ceasefire was denied by Lord Dive, who continued to shell Melcombe. Later that evening, Sydenham sent soldiers across the water in the dark to set light to boats and waterside buildings on the Weymouth side, causing death and destruction and forcing Dive to stop the bombardment. 3 days later, a huge royalist army under Lord George Goring turned up with 4,500 men, parading outside Melcombe to try and scare Sydenham's garrison into submission.
Who is that king?
This was unsuccessful, and to the relief of Sydenham, there was no onslaught, and only a small garrison was left there by the Royalists. The Roundheads in Melcombe began to starve and sent out a cavalry to successfully hijack goods being transferred by Goring. Dive sent out a proportion of his force from Weymouth to rescue the situation, at which time Sydenham lowered the drawbridge, sent over 300 musketeers and captured the whole of Weymouth. This gave Sydenham the problem of soldiering 2 towns instead of 1 against 6,000 royalists who arrived at midnight on the 22nd of February to attack. Sydenham, knowing that the gate wouldn't hold, set an ambush further down Weymouth High Street.
Goring's men broke through, charged down the old High Street and walked straight into 3 cannon and hundreds of muskets. About 200 were killed. Sydenham's men rushed out, turned their muskets upside down, clubbed the remainder, went at them with swords. Apparently there was blood flowing in the streets. Goring's men retreated. Simultaneously, the people who were still in charge of the Nove were the Royalist Lord Inchiquin's regiment from Ireland, and about 250 of them attacked Weymouth from the east and made their way up to the quay to where the old bridge was, where they met the triumphant Sydenham's regiment who were coming the other way. Big battle ensued, the Irish fled, but in the dark, in the panic, they forgot to turn right and get back to the Nove, and the whole lot went over into the Weymouth quayside and were drowned, or helped on their way by Sydenham's.
A trial followed, convened by Sydenham himself, here portrayed by Alistair Chisholm, the Dorchester town crier.
You stand before us today accused of the most serious of crimes. You did, with others, conspire to betray and overthrow this godly and lawful garrison, without thought to the safety of any innocents who may have been killed as a result of your base and cowardly actions. You were prepared to deliver us all into the hands of a cruel and unjust enemy.
We were forced, my lord. It was him. He forced us.
Shut your
We
mouth.
don't want to fight for the king. We want to
Thomas
fight for Parliament.
Samways and Walter Bond.
No, you can't.
It is the decision of this court that you, Thomas Samways, and you, Walter Bond, be taken from here and escorted back to jail, where you will make a further discovery of your partners to us. Take them away. Bring forward John Kay. John Kay, you have already made full confession of your crime. Take him away and shoot him till he be dead.
On your knees. No.
John Mills, you also have made a full confession.
Of loyalty to the king.
I'll not waste a moment long on you, sir. Take him away and shoot him till he be dead. Your part, Elizabeth, is not in this conspiracy, was to play the messenger. And we find you guilty. Take her away and shoot her till she be dead. That final execution concludes our business here today. Let this be a warning to all who oppose the righteous authority of Parliament.
February 1645 is boy's own stuff. It's straight out of Hollywood, but it actually happened.